Now, club football is almost back because international football, yeah, we are, sir. And it's going to be a lot of interesting things because clubs with say Chelsea, they went back into it to training. And there's some good news apart from Menano Paddy and Medemao. First off, the number of Chelsea players are called back to training. The injury updates of our brand here friend Leon Delap. Barcelona won saying Sembebe with respect to Camp Nou and where they return to play football. Hey, Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. So I want to subscribe to the channel now. Why you subscribe to the channel, turn on notification, in the notification turn, do choose all, just so anytime there is content here, you are first to have it on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Until then, you may remember didn't come up because every time in the description of the video, there is always content for you. There is always bet codes. Debia, the codes are there. You pick it up, you go and enjoy some analysis, and then of course you win some codes on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube and BBR. And come pa. And from our home, it's interesting that we have today's conversation because there's been a lot of updates on the club side, on the player side, and some also. And they didn't come on the Bebre, and they are say on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Don't say I didn't say it. Of course, first off, let's say a big thank you to the two people who have made this show a possibility. First one is Spare Parts Dealership Shop. Charlie, if it's about spare parts party, then it is in terms of Obenya, the most current of spare parts. Spare parts company heading to get on the market. Yes, money being amount. I was so kind or I was so kind. Maybe you fell on post office. I was so kind post office. So what crap? That's how car in your force now in and around that place. I'm sure for a kind of call Aboso can post office on him. Now, yes, you will take very, very good care of it. He will take very, very good care of it for you. But let's say you are not in a car, you're far from him. He does what he calls the nationwide delivery. Nationwide delivery. Please call him on 05931382221. 05931382221. For yes, you must see he will take very, very good care of you. Of course, Centarian Alperia, then it's my man. MOB clothing, I draw in the mommy. Don't take care of you. Don't take very good care of you. Very, very good care of you. Whether you want clothes out and open, you have shots in a fee, open, you have look dapper for, whatever, date nights, everything. Then Gerard and his mom would take very good care of you. Please do call them. Take the number 02000 608 708 0200 668 708 0200 608 70608. Christ, I've messed up the number. But of course, MOB clothing, I'll make sure 70 number number 2 more. Then of course you can pick it up and then make sure say Fred Jordan and mommy. To do a flower station or to do. That's where Jordan and his mom are in terms of signing man. And then Chelsea for players echo back to training. And still Chelsea for a list on the buyer now. On board the number of players that were in training today. They mentioned Abrantia, your friend Robert Sanchez. Robert was not called for the Spanish national team. And if you look at the Chelsea team, essentially Chelsea is number one. And I think that Robert Enya some very good progression as a goalkeeper in recent times from the Club World Cup in the tail end of last season. Nibozo moments have reduced a little bit and he's beginning to play well. And I think that he has cemented his number one spot at Chelsea Football Club. But again, still, a lot of fans are not particularly enthused about what Robert Sanchez will give Chelsea. And they keep on saying that Chelsea would have to change the goalkeeper, bring in another quality goalkeeper, and then change it from a branch here from Robert Sanchez and bring in somebody else. We'll see how Chelsea for me to someone, nobody another goalkeeper. But of course, and actually, Robert Sanchez was right there in the conversation. Wesley Fofana is in there. It looks as if when you have some consistent training and then the fitness is coming back and Chelsea can have him. The only disadvantage again is centre backs, almost starting and they were not called by their national team. So I brought your friend Trevor Chalobah was still in the team. And I brought your friend Tosin Adarabiayo was still in the team. So both of them were in that Chelsea training that they didn't go for the international duty. So, how Trevor Chalobah has played that. I don't think any Chelsea fan would want Trevor to change our Chelsea. Because, to be very honest, Trevor has played well. In the absence of Wesley Fofana, Trevor has been the go-to guy. And You see, sometimes, first, those of us who had been critical of the work of our branch friend Trevor Chalobah kept on emphasizing saying the strength panel in the defensive side of the game, box defending. As a honor said, and when you are playing a possession-based team, you need to do more than just box defending. You need to do what we call the proactive defending, not the reactive defending. Now, it's something that Trevor Chalobah not ensured any strength. But in recent times and Enzo Maresca, Trevor has really improved in proactive defending. And proactive in the sense say Chelsea for a kita ball, not opponent say their body up. He is able to step into the middle. No, I had the aggressor, no, I really dwells. Now, if we were play forward, no, I very physical, very combative, then he gets successes in that regard. I mean, it's really interesting. I mean, the context of our brand here, your friend Trevor Chalobah, and how he's developing as a player, how he's growing as a player. And maybe we are not going to see our brand here, friend Wesley Fofana anytime soon, unless maybe Saka World Cup game near against Lincoln. Maybe that's where Chelsea for who are brand here, your friend Wesley Fofana. But then he's back. What I'm hearing is that Chelsea are going to start a brand here for Hato in that game against Brentford, because Marco Cucurella abo a lot of games, and also in preseason he played almost every game. In the first 3 games that Chelsea about, he has played all of them. And also the Spanish La Roja national team, they are brand here for Marco Cucurella about 2 games in Spain for the boy. All of them 90 minutes. All of them 90 minutes. And I bring you friend Marco Cucurella, boy. And it may take a toll on the health of our branch friend Marco Cucurella. So it's very likely say one Shenia Enzo Maresca will start a branch friend Jarrell Hato in a game against Brentford, because he didn't go for an international break. He has done the job and he is fit and ready to go for Chelsea for them in that game against Brentford over the weekend. And of course, a branch here can a branch friend Benoit Belachile. And I said it the last time, said, see, regardless of how anybody sees the impact of a brand here friend Benoit Belachile, he is going to be very important for Chelsea, especially in the absence of the of centre back Levi Cole. Because to be very honest with you, Benoit is one of the best ball playing centre backs at Chelsea Football Club. Say, young football into form. Near finding line breaking passes. We should build up from the back. We should be able to open up the game and then create high quality chances from defense area. Then one of the best guys is a brand here, your friend Benoit Belachile. And Chelsea having him back is very interesting. Yes, he is not a fan favorite, but then really the most important thing is that he goes into the game and is able to add a little bit of impetus, a little bit of ball playing ability for for Chelsea Football Club, for them to be able to play some good football and for them to be able to impose themselves in the game. And when Chelsea are now playing their game, they can now comfortably play Tosin Adrebiayu, any branch here and Benoit Belachile, and one again can play at RCB. It means that in such game, Enzo Maresca can now have Reece James at RCB and the leader of the back line. So he doesn't have to force Reece to bump up and down the touchline, because watch the 3 games that Chelsea have bought this season. Reece hasn't, I think it's just the first game that Reece started, but first game Reece can't start you. But most of the games, I think Reece started in the first game. Most of the games, Reece has come off the bench with Malo Gustomo going up and down the touchline to keep the width, to be very mobile, to cover loads of the ground. So for the Malo Gusto has been good. But with the availability of a brand here, your friend, a brand here friend Benoit Belachile, it gives Chelsea the opportunity. I mean, a very good opportunity to be able to have a CCB in Benoit and then push a brand friend Tosin Adrebiayu to RCB and then have a brand friend Reece James, Tosin Adrebiayu rather to have a brand friend Benoit Belachile to LCB, Tosin CCB, and have Reece James as RCB. I mean, that's regarding Benoit Betimabo, the left foot, right foot down, and with how Maresca plays, I think it is going to help Chelsea in terms of build up, and it will also be able to give a branch friend in Joao Hato, especially in that game against Brentford, to bump up and down the touchline, to be a very aggressive and helping the press, counter press, winning the ball back, being physical. All of those things, Chelsea will be able to do it once they have a branch here. Your friend Benoit Belachile fits in the team. Last season, I think that he was beginning to get a little bit better until saying injury. Sa Benfica game. He was very good as well until say again another injury also did affect him. And I think that Benoit with time is going to be an important player for Chelsea Football Club. We will see how Benoit Bellachile be affected him. But any other a brand here friend Romeo Lavia and then also a back or Chelsea team. I mean, the least said about Romeo Lavia the better, because I've said it several times. If you have Romeo Lavia, it means that Enzo Fernandez can go on doing the box-to-box job, adding goals and assists, being physical and combative in both boxes, and then of course making sure that he helps get goals and get on the end of things and get job done. That is something that Enzo Fernandez is trying to do, especially when you have Romeo Lavia as your deep line playmaker, somebody who sits deep and controls and pulls the tempo of the game. And especially even in times where you want to manage the game, Romeo Lavia becomes an important asset in that conversation in build-up. He is literally one of the best players that you can get in that regard over there for Romeo Lavia. There was also a brand friend, Facundo Buonanotte, the Argentine international. He was right there. He wasn't registered for the Champions League, but then Maresca says that he has a plan for a brand friend, Facundo Buonanotte. Of course, Alejandro Garnacho was also in the conversation. He trained very well for Chelsea and was involved in the Chelsea training. Obisa said, Argentina, Enzo Fernandez, Anchor international break. On the last international break, Enzo Fernandez had a red card. So obviously, he wasn't going to be able to qualify to go and play inside game that cost. He was always going to get let's say he was always going to get a red card. He had a red card, so he was obviously not going to be able to play. There is an update on an injury of a brand here, your friend Liam Delap. Now, Shobekaya, in that game against Fulham, Liam Delap had an injury, a very, very funny injury that nobody was expected. It was as if it was a muscle pull and then became a muscle tear. After the series of tests that Chelsea won a year, Chelsea have finally gotten an update on the return of our brand here friend Liam Delap. And according to David Osteen from the Athletic, it's going to be a 10-week window. 10 weeks already. I think they were 2 weeks away. There's going to be another 2 weeks in October. Then there's going to be another 1 week in November. Chelsea are expecting that he's going to be back somewhere in November there, but he's expected to start training again in November, return to play as soon after, and head to the festive schedule. No surgery is required for Brantia, your friend Liam Delap. I mean, it's very, very important. Glad to hear that no surgery. Likely a grade 3 out of grade 4 for Liam Delap injury now in the game against Fulham. It gives Chelsea the edge to be able to come in and have the clarity of a player that will give them that physicality. But MRF said Chelsea immediately they realized that Liam Delap was injured. They went back onto the market. They went back and called one player that they know that is already in their conversation. That is Abrantia, your friend McGill. So they recalled McGill back into the team to come and play some very, very good football power for Chelsea Football Club, and he did exactly that. So it means that McGill has the chance to play at least to be with the team from now till January. I mean, something I think that it's very good for him. I think that it's a very big opportunity for our branch friend Maggie. You see, last season, Maggie was beginning to go and develop as a striker, and then he had a very, very bad injury that took him out until the end of the season, and he didn't really play again until Club World Cup, a few games. And I remember that the brief that I had when Chelsea were looking for a striker after Liam Delap got injured, they were told that if they can get McGill in, Enzo Maresca is interested in working with McGill because McGill has shown that he's a top player. McGill has shown that he can get a job, that he understands the metrics of a brand here, your friend Enzo Maresca. And I think that McGill's time has come. Like I said, he was meant to be playing well, especially when Jackson got injured. Joao Pedro will be the house space occupier, the second striker, whilst McGill plays much more up top in terms of aerial duels, heading of crosses, and then also in terms of somebody that will press you aggressively, somebody that will win the ball back, somebody that's going to be very physical and combative on the ball, off the ball. Everything that you need from McGee is able to give you in that regard, and that is the kind of player that Chelsea are going to have in the lead up to the rest of the games until Brantia Liam Delap is going to return to Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea have been very clear on Liam Delap. They have said it several times, Liam is an important player for them. They want Liam to be in the team, but Liam is injured. So now that Liam is injured, it means that there is a big opportunity. It's not going to be easy for McGill. It would mean that he has to turn up a bit more. And I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult for our branch friend McGill, but he has to step up. He really, really has to step up. If you look at the kind of football that Chelsea wants to play these days and the fact that consistently they want to be able to win, it's important that he has to step up over then. See, the purchases that Chelsea for 1 year, when the transfer window opened, is proving to be very, very important very early on in the summer. Because and then there was a report 2 days ago from the Portuguese FA that they called their young under 21 DM Dario Isugu from Chelsea Football Club. Now, when they called Dario Isugu, Dario was come in. Dario just when Dario went in there, he said he felt something in his thigh, and then Dario got injured. And then Chelsea for a surgery on our branch here friend of Dario Isugu. Dario Isugu. Chelsea had a surgery on him, and when they did, it means that this summer starts in Chelsea and your injuries of Levi Cole, who is out for essentially the rest of the season. Dario Isugu, your part also injured. Liam Delap injured. Cole Palmer injured. It looks as if say already just before say Enzo Maresca best start the season, the players and it's not good enough for them. They want to make sure say they come back and then deliver and then get a result. So that is it. But Dario Isugu went onto Instagram and he put out a statement. The Chelsea teammates number supporting the catching. Everything is going to be fine. He shouldn't be too worried about the kind of football. We'll see how things are going to go on from then. What happened with Dario Isugu? And he said he went onto Instagram and he told everybody about the injury, and Romeo Lavia catching is a massa. Don't stress, nah. We are going to be fine with you, Barca. You are going to be very important. And this is what Dario Isugu said. He said, unfortunately, during this international break with the national team, I felt something in my thigh that required surgery and will keep me out for a while. It's frustrating to start the new season like this, especially after already facing another setback not long ago. But I truly believe everything happens for a reason. God has a bigger plan. I will be back stronger. That is what Abrantia, your friend, Dario Isugu, and of course, recovery time for thigh injuries usually between 4 to 5 months, but I think there's going to be a little bit less. While severe hamstring struggles may take about 9 to 6 months, but of course, he has surgery. So, and on the 3 months, that is where Chelsea phone will miss Abrantia, your friend Dario Isugu. That is how they call him. The last time say, I think that now Enzo Fernandez has embraced the role of a box-to-box player. And I think that it is making him more of a game changer than anything else Chelsea Football Club. And that is very good. That is a very, very good thing part for Enzo Maresca, Enzo Fernandez as a player. And I think it's going. We've said several times, maybe Chelsea will need him to play as a deep line playmaker because that's his best attribute, that is his best place of playing the game. But also, when he has set up to be the box-to-box player where he attacks the opponent's box and then also builds up, helping build up now, he's also seems to be very good. And because in 2025, Chelsea most goals most assists in 2025, Enzo Fernandez now, and then most goals and assists combined in 2025, and also Brent friend Enzo Fernandez. So everything is clear. Say Enzo Fernandez is literally a very, very important player in the conversation of Chelsea Football Club, and then a good thing that's coming on from. Of course, the good news back in Chelsea, Chelsea player injury, and he said, Brent friend Liam Delap, there isn't going to be